Okay. How's it going?
Good. Can you hear?
Yes.
How's the sound?
You're good.
Talk.
Talk, talk, talk.
What'd you do today?
What did I do today? Well, I woke up. I'm trying to remember what I actually did. Oh, I finished a book.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. That I was reading, and then I've been doing this like centering prayer thing.
Great.
I might talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's super good.
Yeah, I heard about it from Steve Mulaney actually.
Okay.
And
So Art, you can talk a little bit louder.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that'll be good.
I'll talk louder.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, he wanted me to do. He reached out to me about doing the Episcopal Service Corps,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, it's something I've been thinking about doing, but it kind of like messes with me trying to be a piano teacher and like get students and all that.
Right.
So I'm not sure like when I'll do it. You know, if I do it.
That could be your work for the service corps, because each service corps member has an outside job.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I actually met with someone. I don't know if it's Episcopal, but I don't know if it's like part of the service corps thing. It's in Nebraska. It's called St. Benedictine's Way.
Oh.
And he said like I could definitely use the music skills in what we were doing. So
Talking with me about that.
about
St. Benedict's Way and
okay, yeah.
I have somebody who was in that program,
Oh, really?
and they're no longer in the program.
And a what?
They're no longer in the program.
Oh, they didn't. They left.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means I haven't like knowledge.
Okay. All right.
Because it's a new community down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a good conversation with the brother.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Cool. That's
So.
important. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. I'm not
So Jeff, the way this works, I'll keep an eye on the clock. It's right there. But I'll keep an eye on the clock, and we'll go. So we'll start, and then we'll go about 25 minutes or so. Good evening and welcome to Between the Trees. and in this first season of Lent. And throughout the season of Lent, we are actually looking at what our bishop refers to as practiced discipleship. And that can mean a lot of things. And but we're looking at certain things every week. And this week, we're looking at the word seeking, because I think that that's an important part of what it means to be a disciple of Jesus. Searching and seeking God. So I thought through who in our congregation, in our parish, might be doing that part of discipleship, and Jeffrey Merrill came to mind. So our guest for this evening is Jeffrey. So how you doing, Jeffrey?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
So you tell us just a little bit about you, and then you grew up here, right? At St. John's.
Well, I didn't grow up in St. John's. I was baptized as an Episcopalian though.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I grew up in the White Bear area, so this is kind of like home territory.
Great. So when did your family start coming to St. John's?
We started coming, well, we're sort of refugees from the Lutheran Church.
Ah, right. Well, like with tents.
Yeah, what?
Like with tents.
Yes.
Not that sort of.
No. Spiritual
refugees. Okay.
So, and yeah, we came to St. John's, and we were churchless for a little while before, but then we found St. John's, and it was just a really welcoming environment. I remember we got like coffee mugs or something the first time we came here, and like not like the material thing is like what matters, but it was like they noticed that we came here and were like, welcome.
Yeah. Do you still have the coffee mug?
I think so. Yeah, I think somewhere. Yeah.
Really? How many coffee mugs do you guys
Oh, we have too many coffee mugs. That's we have like a whole cabinet of like coffee, because from Boy Scouts too, we would get coffee mugs.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, too many coffee mugs.
A lot of. So do you drink coffee?
Only when I'm studying or like finals week, that type thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad to be done with that.
Yeah, because you're done with college now.
I am done with college.
So that was so intense. I remember my own college experience, and it's like you are constantly like studying. Something is always like on top of you at all times. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty intense. Did you have a favorite coffee mug?
No, whatever was there. I go for
clean.
Function.
Yeah, whatever's clean and on the
shelf, sometimes not even clean, but in college, but
yeah. So so tell us a little bit about yourself. So you grew up kind of in White Bear Lake. And you guys moved here when you were before 10?
We moved here when I was like in 8th grade, I think.
Okay.
We moved to this church.
Okay.
When I was in 8th grade.
8th grade.
And Sheila Foster got us involved in like EYMC.
Oh yeah.
Which was a big thing.
Yeah.
That was also like a really welcoming like environment the first time going there and just singing, learning all the songs.
Yeah. That was the diocesan program.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, right. Do they still call it that? Do you know? EYMC?
Yes.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so we did that, and then
music camp. EY.
Episcopal Youth Music Camp. Yes.
Okay.
I should have explained the acronym.
Yeah, we should. Yes.
But yeah, so I did that. That was great. I did that for like through high school at some point. I don't know if I went like my senior year or something, but I went multiple times. Right. And then I also did tech too, which was another really big thing.
Which stands for?
Teens Encounter Christ.
Right.
Yes, Teens Encounter Christ.
Right.
That was the first place I learned about agape. Like I didn't even know agape was a word. That was a big deal too.
Did they do the tech retreats here?
Well, we had one here. We did have one here. I remember singing, I was on music team for that one with Carrie. And I remember we sang Billy Joel's, what is it? Oh, I can't remember it now. It's not soul, it's something like, I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like it sounds like a hymn.
Oh, yeah?
It'll come back to me.
Huh. I don't think I know that a Billy Joel song that sounds like a hymn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Only the Good Die Young.
No, it's not that one. It's really famous.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
Someone will probably type it into the chat. It sounds like a hymn. It's like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Not
what I got.
Piano Man.
Not Piano Man, no.
See, that one is the one you should do because you're a piano man.
Everyone says that though. That's what everyone says.
Yes. Right.
But yeah, I should learn that one. I should.
You don't even know that one?
No, I know like the intro, but you know.
But you've never. Okay, so.
It's a good song.
Not
it's a good
everybody
song.
knows this, but Jeffrey is an accomplished pianist, and that surprises me.
I should know it. I could learn it. I know like Just the Way You Are.
Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's another one.
Oh, yeah. Do you sing it while you? Are you a good? I don't even know if you can sing. Can
you sing? I can sing, but my family tells me I'm like not the best, and I know I'm like a little bit, go flat sometimes.
Yeah.
A tendency to go flat.
That's okay. Flat's good.
Flat's good.
It can be good. I guess not.
If you're bending the note, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess in music, it's not. Is it ever good?
I think generally you want to be in tune.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, so you went through college. You did some time at Temple.
Yes.
You did a couple of years there, and then so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So at Temple, I studied jazz performance. I got really into jazz in high school. I was kind of a jazz nerd, and then I became less of a jazz nerd.
Yeah.
Well, not that like my passion waned, but that like I became less nerdy about it, because when I got to school, I had a really intellectual way of listening to music. Like it was very much like, oh, this is this chord tone here, and it resolves here like this, and it's this chord progression in the circle of fifths or whatever. And so
when you got to Temple, you were like that?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit. And we would listen together, like like a group of like fellow jazz majors. We would sit down and just listen to a record.
Mm-hmm.
And just attentively listen. And that was like really opened up my ears and my heart too.
Oh.
Because people were like would be like more emotive. They would go like, ooh, I really like that.
Oh, yeah.
When someone plays something, they're like, woo,
Yeah.
or whatever. And yeah, it just opened my heart to like really deep listening.
So jazz is, the heart of jazz is improvisation, right?
Yeah, that, and I would also say like the groove too.
And the groove. What do you even mean by that?
Well, I guess like the beat.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that the drummer plays. Like that's kind of
Okay, gotcha.
That's like what some musicians I've heard say is like the life force.
Okay. It's like the heartbeat.
It's the heartbeat. That's where the beat comes from.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like a really important part of it, because there's this connection with dancing.
Yeah.
That is important and has kind of been lost a little bit today.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah.
So college, it's a time where at least my college experience was, I remember a lot of times sitting in the pub and talking to my friends about, all sorts of things, the stuff of life. And I'm wondering if your inquiring mind and heart, and actually even jazz, jazz seems to be, to me, and I don't know much about music, but jazz seems to me to be a type of music that people who inquire who question, you know, because you can experiment with jazz. It's not about
Yeah.
getting everything perfect. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I wonder if that's what resonated with you about jazz.
Yeah, well, I think there was, like, for a while, I think even in high school, I was kind of like agnostic. Like, I remember feeling more connected to God when I was young, but then it sort of died away a little bit. And, but I felt like some seeking, I guess, was kind of always there. Like I was kind of always searching for it, and I think that sort of preserved itself, the seeking preserved itself in music. And I think what attracted me to jazz was like the creativity, like the improvisation,
Right.
like you're saying.
Right.
But what kept me there was like the spirituality of all the musicians, you know, who played. Like someone like John Coltrane, like later in his life, people talk about him being kind of like a messianic figure. In a way.
Yeah, so many of those musicians, I'm assuming jazz is the same, but you know, they have roots in the church.
Yeah, yeah.
Did Coltrane?
Yeah, I think his dad was a minister or something.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I don't know what denomination, but I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, there's something about music, isn't there, that taps into truth and beauty and the stuff that makes us human.
Yeah.
A lot of times I talk about how what faith is just getting into the groove
Right.
of the same tune as God's tune, and that if we do that, then we're doing pretty well. But I mean, those music images work pretty well for spirituality.
The eternal rhythm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. And so much of the creation is already in that.
Yeah.
And it's us humans that seem to be out of sync, that seem to be flat.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Flat.
Yeah. Now I understand. Yeah, maybe that's what sin is all about. Is just kind of being flat, you know,
Yeah.
out of tune.
Right.
And not quite right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, the seeking that you're doing, and I'm assuming, and actually, in my opinion, every sincere follower of Jesus is constantly seeking. And in fact, when Jesus says, you know, seek and you'll find, ask and you'll be given an answer, knock and the door will be opened, that verb is about you persistently seeking and asking and knocking. So I'm assuming that seeking that was going on in your college years, that's just kind of who you are.
Yeah. I think the seeking kind of starts with like a desire. Like kind of like a holy hunger for something, you know, more than just what we're presented in everyday life and in our culture. But yeah, I think.
Does that desire, and this is a super hard question.
Okay.
Does that desire for you come from your head or your heart?
Oh. Yeah, that's something I've thought about a lot because I feel like music has opened my heart more, and I was very much a head person, very much like an intellect, like think.
You're smart as a whip.
Well,
I mean, I've been in some circles with you, and I'm just like, you'll say something, and I'm like, I just don't even know what to do with that because it's. Yeah,
thank you.
You're
Thank
smart.
You. Thank you.
So, but the downside of that is sometimes smart people stay in their heads.
Yeah, they identify with the intellect, and that's definitely, you could say, like a sin of smart people, I guess, is to like think that what they are is their intellect, and there's so much more than that. There's the heart, and yeah, actually, with that, it reminds me. One of my teachers said, "You can listen to music two ways. You can listen with the head, or you can listen with the heart." And when you listen with the head, it's like very critiquing and judgmental. It's like the analytical part of the mind where you're like, okay, does this sound good? What's this chord progression? Blah blah blah. but the heart just doesn't, is still
Yeah.
and just opens itself and accepts what it hears.
Right. And probably if you have both going, that's like ideal.
Well, yeah, right. I think it's important to balance, but
Yeah.
but I really think the seeking has to come from the heart, or at least you're searching for the heart.
Yeah.
Um,
And it, for you, it feels like something welling up from within. It's like a holiness, this passion, this desire that's coming from deep down and where you are.
yeah, I think it definitely comes from within, but I think the like inspiration can also come from God too. And I guess you can think about that however you want. You can think of God being like outside of you, or God being within you too.
Right.
There's that kind of dualism that we have.
Right. Yeah, because we believe that the Holy Spirit lives in each one of us, and it may be the Spirit crying out, you know, come and find me, or come where I am, you know,
Yeah.
go deep and find out what's rich down here.
Yeah, that idea of the Spirit calling is exactly like what I think about with like improvisation when it really goes well. Like it's like the Spirit, it's like the voice of the Holy Spirit or something like that is like speaking out, you know.
When you're playing jazz,
Uh-huh.
are you thinking about stuff?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
So what are you thinking?
Well, I'm trying to like play the harmony and the rhythm. You know, I'll try to. One thing Dizzy Gillespie talks about is he thinks of a rhythm first, and then puts the notes to that rhythm.
Oh.
So there's definitely thinking that goes on, but like when you're really, I mean, I don't want to claim to like be like a master and that like I've, you know,
Yeah, right.
had this, that my music is divine or anything like that. But I think with the best people, they talk about like being played or being sung
Right.
or something like that.
Have you had moments where it's felt like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That must be scary. What is that?
Um,
Or does it feel good?
I think it feels good. Usually it's when I'm playing by myself.
Yeah.
It's not usually performing.
Yeah. Okay. So, and this isn't a question I even said I was going to ask you, but so I was going to have Jeffrey play a little bit. I don't think we're going to do that tonight.
We could.
We could?
We could,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Carrie said we can swing the camera around
could do
and we
that.
can play a little bit if we have some time. Yeah, I'm sure she'll figure that out. So, yeah. Well, but I was going to ask so you've changed technique a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So that for me, that takes a lot of guts to do that. So you've been playing a certain way or a certain technique, and now you've changed that up. I mean, you're pretty accomplished, so that's weird, isn't it?
Well, there are still things that I can't do that I would like to do. I mean, like my C major scale doesn't sound as good as I would like it to.
Your C major.
Even like the basic C major scale, like I think is one of the hardest scales actually. Like B major is easy because you like just get the thumb underneath and it's like smoother for the hand, but C is a little bit trickier.
Yeah. So you feel like with your old technique, you're not going to get where you want to get.
Yeah, that is, yeah. And I've struggled with injuries too. There was like from the middle of my junior year to like this summer, basically, I wasn't really playing that much because of pain, chronic pain and those types of things.
Wow, that's just something that you don't even think about, but you must have been playing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet yeah. And then you just had to take a break from that for a while to let your body recover.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't want to get into it too much because like I could talk too much about that and that's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it takes a lot of courage, I think, to try a new technique. So
Yeah, or desperation.
or well, and when I think about that whole notion of seeking and what that is all about, sometimes it feels like that, even spiritually that feels like that, where you're like, Lord, I'll do whatever I have to do, but I don't, to get where I want to be, I've got to try something different. And you see that in some of the greats, the great mystics, the great ones of all, the great saints. You see them taking those steps where they just are like, I've got to start from square one again.
Right.
I wonder if it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. I mean, I don't want to compare it necessarily to like what the saints are doing, but it is kind of starting from the ground up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, and I've got to ask you, because like you're the youngest person that has been on Between the Trees. Our congregation is older.
Mm-hmm.
Most mainline denominations are these days. So I wonder if you'd be willing to just talk a little bit about what it is that the church is missing, why young people aren't attracted to mainline stuff, or maybe they are and I'm just missing it, and then why you're hanging in there, for the most part. I mean, you were coming to our outdoor services,
Mm-hmm.
and you're hanging in there. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I'll say I'm hanging in there because I think having a community, a faith community, is really important. Like it keeps you grounded, and you just need to be with other people who are also worshiping God. I think that's important in whatever form of community that takes.
Right.
But I'll say I think there are a lot of reasons why young people aren't going to church in general. And I think Christianity in general has an image problem. And it's, when people think of Christianity, they think of, at least people I know, they think of like the Crusades, or they think of colonization, or they think of like Christianity's involvement in slavery, and those types of things. And unfortunately, some of the most vocal Christians today are not trying to, I guess, repent for those sins, but they're, like also anti-gay and like anti-evolution, and there's now this anti-science association with Christianity.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
kind of going into it,
Yeah.
But that's ironic to me because for so long in the church, like Catholic priests like Copernicus
Right.
and Gregory Mendel were like making some of the biggest advances in science. So the church should really return to its roots
Right.
on that. And then on the anti-gay issue, I think the Episcopal Church has done like a much better job of like affirming people, but I think there's still like a lot more that could be done.
Yeah.
Like for example, there's like the 7 passages that have traditionally been used to condemn homosexuality. I think we just need to have a conversation about how to recontextualize, reinterpret, and reevaluate those passages, so that they're affirming to people of LGBTQ plus, our fellow LGBTQ plus Christians, and that they feel God's love in the church.
Yeah, that's great. Do you think it's just an image problem, or do you think it goes deeper than that?
Well, yeah, I think for a lot of, I think in Christian communities, I think it goes deeper than an image problem.
Yeah.
But I think the Episcopal Church is, I think, doing a better job than a lot of other churches on that. And we could just be a little bit more like, I guess, explicit about it. You know what I mean? Like we could have conversations about those types of things.
Well, that is one, there are many, our church, the Episcopal Church, we have a lot of challenges. But one thing that I think we do well when we are really living into our identity is that we encourage dialogue, and we encourage seeking, we encourage asking the questions, and when we've got it wrong, then we're pretty good about repenting of that and saying we got it wrong, and let's try to get it right.
Right.
So I think, and let me check it out with you, but I think that a church that is willing to do that in the long run
Yeah.
will do well with younger people.
Well, that's what I was saying, is these issues I think are like important to young people, and like they look like they want to see institutions that aren't being hypocritical about it. And I think if you're really earnestly following, I think we are like doing our best to just earnestly follow Jesus's call.
Yeah.
But of course we can always do more.
And not just talking about it, but
Right.
actually getting out. I know you and your brother have been hounding me to let's do something in this parish, let's just not talk about things, but
Right.
let's actually do the stuff of Christ.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of feel like I'm waiting to, like with COVID, like I feel like I'm kind of done seeking. I have some wisdom, and I'm kind of tired of wisdom now. I want to like move on to like doing the next step in discipleship or whatever that is.
I think you're way too young for this, but some of the really old people out there will remember the game Pong.
Oh, Pong, yeah, I know of it. It's like legendary. Pong is legendary.
That makes me feel so old. I know of it. It's like I know of, anyway. But it's like this thing that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
And but when I think about wisdom, when you were talking about wisdom and action, I think that's the balance that we try to find, is this contemplation, thinking, and the heart work and the head work of Christianity, of our faith. But then it's got to bounce to action.
Yeah.
And a lot of times us Episcopalians, we
are good at
right.
the wisdom stuff, but we got to implement it.
Yeah, right. So we get stuck on this side of the Pong thing.
Yeah.
And that's no fun.
Yeah, or we're very in our heads and not so much with our hearts sometimes.
Yeah, right. And hands.
And hands, yes.
Right. And getting out there and doing the stuff of Christ. Okay, so you're super interesting. This is really fun, Jeffrey.
Okay.
So the wonder stick. I am not alone in wondering things about you. From the wonder stick, a high tech. Thank you, Carrie, who's the operator. Takes a special skills to operate the wonder stick. Okay. So okay, let's see. What about Dave Brubeck?
Dave Brubeck. Oh yeah, Take Five.
His music and his faith.
I didn't know about his faith that much. Is he Jewish? Is he Christian?
I don't know.
Is that the question about Dave Brubeck?
Or what do you know? You don't know much about Dave?
No, I like Dave Brubeck.
Okay.
He's much. I know more about him musically.
So what is just musically? You can do that side of it.
Well, okay, so like he's more of kind of block chord type player. Like he doesn't. I mean, he can play stuff. Like he's definitely a piano, like virtuoso, whatever. But he definitely plays more block chords and has like a classical technique and stuff. And interestingly, I think this is a story that Jerry Bergonzi told. He asked him to spell out like a D minor 7 or something. And that's something very basic for jazz musicians. So like, okay, what are the notes in that? And he spelled out like the wrong notes.
Huh.
So what that means is he didn't really like know theory. It was all ear.
Wow.
So.
All heart, huh?
Yeah. Which is interesting. Like that generation was just so like non-intellectual about the music.
I don't know anything about Dave Brubeck. Is he still alive?
Oh, he died like I think in the past couple of years. I think.
Okay. So he was probably his height was the 60s or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I think Take Five and all that. I think came out like. I think 1959. That was like one of the big with Paul Desmond.
Okay.
That was like one of his big albums.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Which musician, dead or alive, do you wish most
Oh.
to play with?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's like if you had to have coffee with somebody, who would you do that with?
Oh my. Well, I'll say I won't want to play with pianists because I want to play with another instrument. So that rules out all the pianists that I love, even though I love them. Maybe Miles Davis. Maybe Miles Davis. I'm gonna go with Miles Davis.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Miles Davis.
Okay. Miles Davis it is. Okay. Other than jazz or classical, what's your favorite music?
Oh. Well, I just love stuff from like the 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like my era. And
Yeah.
I listen to that like rock.
Yeah, like
from the 70s.
Carrie got me onto like Carole King and well Billy Joel.
Yeah.
And well also 80s stuff too. I like Prince.
Yeah.
I like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, really.
I like all that stuff. Yeah.
How about the Carpenters?
Oh yeah.
Really?
What's that? Close to You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. John
Yeah.
Denver?
Who?
John Denver?
No, I don't. See, I mean, like my knowledge is limited, but I
Okay.
do like 70s stuff.
Okay. Okay, so here we go. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh
and
my.
why?
I think I would want to live I could describe the place. I'm gonna like sort of go around the question and just
Yeah.
describe the place I would like to live.
Yeah.
Like a place where there's like community, spiritually and musically. So just kind of wherever that is.
Yeah.
And where I really have close friends.
Yeah.
And
Tight community where you're, receiving the stuff of the Spirit and giving of the Spirit. And
yeah,
Yeah.
that fellowship.
Yeah. That's where I want to live too.
Yeah, wherever that is.
I'll come with you.
Yeah.
Let's load up in your car and take a road trip. Or maybe it's right here. Maybe we.
Well,
just
that's kind of what I'm trying to say is I think it's not so much where, it's like
making the community that you want to be a part of.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's inspirational. Thank you, Jeffrey. I love that.
I didn't really answer the question, so.
Yeah, no, that's good. It would be so much easier to say Los Angeles.
Oh, I wouldn't want to live in LA.
Oh, you would?
No.
Really?
Just all the traffic, all the pollution,
Yeah.
all the desperation.
Yeah. Okay. How about Maine?
Yeah, I could maybe go for Maine.
Okay.
It's kind of like Minnesota, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Minnesota. But I like your answer better, which was.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that. That's the
Yeah,
answer I
that's a
stick
good
to.
That was a great answer. Okay. So this question actually is from Carrie.
Okay.
And it is, what is the funniest memory you have from music camp?
Oh my gosh. Probably some of the costumes that people wore. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of blanking on this. I should. Yeah, I think it was some of the costumes. Probably something Mark did at some point. When I was in Mark's cabin, we definitely like did some shenanigans and pranks and stuff.
Pranks.
Yeah, I
On
think
the
there was a little bit of that going on. Yeah, I can't. I'm not good at remembering stories.
Okay.
So sorry, Carrie.
She's okay.
But something like that.
So how about this one? You don't have to answer, but I just want to say it because it's so funny. How did you get such great looking hair, Fabio hair? Somebody likes your hair.
Well,
Okay, and then let me name some of these Billy Joel songs, and you tell me which of these is like.
Gosh,
Here we go. To Make You Feel My Love,
no,
Just the Way You Are,
I know that one.
but it's not the one you're talking
No,
about.
it's like
All About Soul.
no.
Lullaby.
It has something like time in its name.
This Is the Time.
No.
Okay. Well, they don't have, yeah, they don't know either.
I'll type it in the chat later if I remember. I just have to like go to the album and like look it up.
I went to a Billy Joel concert in the 70s.
Really?
I did. Yeah.
How was it?
It was really good. He's really good. I mean,
No, he's so good.
he's
He's
super
so
good. Yeah.
He's so
That wasn't
good.
my first are you a concert goer?
Yeah.
What was your first concert?
Well, probably St. Paul Chamber Orchestra or like Minnesota Orchestra.
Oh, you're making me feel so bad. My first concert was Styx.
Oh.
Do you even remember that band? That's
No.
from the 70s.
See, I don't know some of the more obscure.
Yeah, no,
stuff.
they were big.
Okay, well, all right.
70s, but anyway, that was my first band. So, are you really up to doing playing something for us?
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
been a request
I will say a request for what to play.
for you to play.
Oh, for me to play now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I would say I'm not going to play the most jazzy of things.
Yeah. So we will move the camera so we can watch Jeffrey play.
We're gonna go to just the camera mic. You can take those off.
Okay.
And just take them off and drop them on the floor. And I will follow you.
This is actually an original composition.
Ooh.
I wrote a bunch of songs like between December and January, and they're more like pop songs to me. It's not really jazz. I'm just kind of trying to move the.
Want some help?
Well, that's okay.
And I will say, I don't know if you can see me, I will say that this is like full. Jeffrey just came in here, so.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep. Go ahead.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for being with us for Between the Trees. We need to start a coffee shop, a jazz coffee shop here at the church. That was really fantastic. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Don't forget that we have a Bible study that starts in just a few minutes, and the link is on the website. Sylvia Lovett will be starting the book of Colossians. And Jeffrey, thanks again. It was just fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Likewise.
We'll see you next time.